What's going on, my G's and G-Tats? Good morning. It is the inflation day, and it looks like inflation is higher than expected. Now, this changes a lot of things, as you should presume. Not that we weren't expecting this, but more importantly, this changes the dynamics of where the market is expecting rate cuts now, right? It was kind of confirmed before today, and today it actually confirms it, right? So a lot of the price action that you've been seeing within the market has been rejection. We were waiting for the third rejection, and then now this low that we're breaking through needs to obviously go lower than this previous low here in order to continue out in this downward trend that we are in. We are still within a range in which we could bounce off this massive basin here at 51.15 all the way to 51.40 or so, right? And you can see that pre-market right here, we all are already kind of bouncing in this area. We bounced the first time, right? So you need to always remember that if there were obviously a bunch of buy orders that were placed here, they mostly got executed, right, for a potential bounce. Now, that might take a couple of different moments to happen before all of this buy side orders get actually drained out, right? Remember that when price action moves this way, majority of the orders that get farmed are not actually buy orders, they're actually sell orders, right? You have to remember that. Because whenever price action breaks to the downside, market maker is most interested in capturing the sell side orders and then wait for price to bounce, because that's where the max pain is, right? Think about when people see a downward pivot, in a break in that pivot, many people are quick to take a short position more than they are to do a long bounce position. So market makers love to farm that kind of a move, right? And understanding that is also a big part of understanding market structure. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys how I look at it from time to time, right? This is going to be the key level for the next few sessions, between 51.13 or so all the way up to 51.40 pretty much. And because this is a dual zone, if we do get in this zone, I will not be trading it until and unless we break either above it and start bouncing on it, or if we break below it and start rejecting it. So for me, my line in the sand is these two pivots here. This is a bullish pivot for confirmation. This is a bearish pivot for confirmation right now. And on top of that, you have a very strong support here from the previous sessions as well. So this level as a whole becomes a very important level at which we need to interact and see how price supply and demand interact here. However, it is my view is that there will be a natural continued downside. And if we can break through all of these sell limit and buy limit orders here, then we are likely to push further down, and that should lead us to the next level, which is around 50.90, and then followed by pretty much 50.55. Okay, so those are some easy round numbers that we'll be seeing for the downside pivots here. You can also use this Fibonacci tool level between this point and this point, right? A to B, okay, and that means here A, the top, right, to this wave low here, which is B wave here. This will give you extension between of the ratio between these 2 points. It'll give us an extension and a forecast of all the important levels. So the 23.6 bounce level is going to be 5117, which is going to coincide with the bottom of your supply zone, right? The 38.2 bounce is the 5100. The 61.8 bounce is the 50.65. So you have all these levels here as potential supports, as if the market decides to fall further downward. So you can superimpose this in your chart. You can do whatever you like, right? And so that's where S&P 500 is today for a significant breakdown. NASDAQ, you can see, actually has more room to go. It has to still prove something, right? It still has to clear this gap here and then break down, then that's bearish. Just FYI, this is what the pre-market's looking like right now. And if you notice what's going on, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Meta, Google, I think it's something, what the heck is going on with Google? Why is it up 60? Oh, sorry, this is a 1 month performance. My bad. Wrong chart. Just kidding. Hold on. Let me get the actual chart. Now it won't show, of course. Okay, I wish I could show you the pre-market action, but we can look at it from here too, right? You'll see majority of these sectors. So technology is down about 1.47% and is at a key pivot. You can see XLK here, right? Needs to break below this level and then come back for a retest here. It's currently trading at this level here, 203, which is a key level. If not, it can potentially bounce again, right? Energy pulled back a little bit after its massive run. Financials broke below key pivot. This is a breakaway gap. This is a pretty strong break. If you look at the gap wise, right? Healthcare also nice potential bearish setup if it can hold below 141.80. This is consumer staples, and this is also an amazing bearish setup. Look at this break outside the channel, which we were looking at, right? We were looking at this a couple of days back, I think during the boot camp. And this was one of the sectors we were looking at for the break below and then the retest, right? So we even set alerts during the boot camp to tell us when we get that break and retest. Consumer discretionary, another good bearish one, but has quite a fair bit of support in this area. You can see all of these are at key pivots. Industrials is the one that has a decent pullback opportunity and then a potential continued sell-off, right? There's a lot of imbalance today, a lot, right? You can pick any sector and it'll give you an imbalance at this point, right? So here are some nice setups. NVDA, right? Retest of 850 would be a nice entry. If not, I think this one might be a gap and go kind of situation. This is a breakaway gap on NVIDIA here. This is pretty strong signal that this will continue to fall today. Okay. Coinbase, it needs to clear 225, but then has this freakish zone here, which is going to act as support. So you have to be careful in this area. So short trade here, not really a good opportunity, but I was thinking more for a bounce to the upside later on after it starts selling off. PayPal, this bounced nicely, didn't get, so this is an interesting one, right? This was on the snipe list for this week, and we've been waiting for this to get triggered to the upside. To be honest, I played a very small size risk position that was long as a day trade, and I took profits off the table before anything could go wrong here because the momentum was kind of weak. And to be honest, it wasn't the best trade because it didn't really pay out. Like, I bought the options position, but even though IV was low and yet to be expanded, I feel like it didn't really give a punch. So this was not a good trade all in all. It was a very slight profit. Visa is the other one, right? Break below 273. Now, why is all of this happening? Why is the sell-off happening? Just to explain it for those of you that don't understand what's going on here, right? So the sell-off is happening because inflation came in higher than usual. What does that mean? Inflation came in higher than usual means that the price of goods and services have still not calmed down. Inflation is not downward trending as we thought it was. But however, the market is now going to overreact to this news. Remember, the market moves from underreaction to overreaction. underreaction to overreaction. It's a constant cycle, right? People are constantly trying to speculate and predict what's going to happen, right? So to give you context, right now everybody is thinking that interest rate decision for cuts is going to be delayed, because if prices are high for longer, this actually will put the Fed in a tough position because they cannot cut interest rates when inflation is higher, right? They have to let inflation be higher at this rate for a longer period of time so that they can keep it in check. So this delays the market's expectation of the rate cut, which means lesser liquidity, and then that means that prices contract. So you have to see, now what does this mean? That means that the short-term economic sentiment is not that concrete, right? People are not certain on how it's going to be. And where is that popping up the most? In bond yields, right? Look at the 10-year yield. It's up 3.23% today. Yes. And you look at your TLT and TLH, it's going to be massively sold off, right? So these two, great short opportunities, right? TLT, TLH. But obviously you can wait for it to, kind of come back a little bit and then take a short, right? But a macro play here is to try and catch a bit of this going down, right? You could, okay? The other hand, you have the VIX, which now is up 9% today, right? Almost our $17 calls are going to be in the money versus the 19 and 18 that I've sold them against. So as long as we stay at around the $17 sometime in the next few weeks, I'll be a happy camper on these VIX calls, right? And then on top of that, look at the double whammy, is the strengthening of the US dollar. Now, some of you might be thinking like, why? How does that make sense? Why does the dollar get strong when people are expecting, a weaker economy or things like that, right? Has that question ever popped in your mind? If it has, does anyone know the answer to that? Why are people buying the dollar during a time when the stock market is selling off, right? And bond yields are going higher? Why? That's a good point. Yes, the economy is not weak, right? So, but that's not the reason why they're buying dollar, right? It's because they're also afraid that things might go wrong, and therefore, what does that mean? They should buy more dollars because it's a reserve currency. So this is when other currencies weaken against the US dollar sometimes. That's when you see the dollar will move in the other way. But in this specific case, right, we're seeing that the people are flocking towards the dollar for safety, right? It's for safety that people are flocking to the dollar. So the dollar will obviously try to meddle with this area once again, the 105.093, and likely to potentially break it if the 10-year has already broken, and has a lot more upside to go here. Then you could definitely see further traction on the 10-year yield here. That these two alone moving up are going to cause a lot of downward pressure on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, right? So, yeah. Yep, safety and world currency, that's correct. Where else are they going to go? The yuan, euro, rubles. Yeah, exactly, right? So there are no other strong economies, right, around the world that has the kind of economy that America has. It's a very unique economy, right? Okay, other setups. Tesla. I know you guys will always want me to go through Tesla, so I always do it. For those of you that can't really see this chart really well, you could potentially switch to a Heiken Aishi candle setup, which averages out the past 6 candles for you, so that the gaps are kind of more smoother. And you can see now Tesla actually has been moving quite nicely, but it looks like it's forming a megaphone here once again. Failed to clinch the highs. Now, all things considered, now I've taken a short position in Tesla. Okay, so I have a short position in Tesla. We just took it like yesterday? No, 2 days ago. Okay, Tesla May 17th, 150 puts, paid $4 for that contract. The reason why is because you can see now this is part of the premium Discord, right? We have flow that's being tracked. Okay, and the amount of Tesla flow that I saw come in last week, let me just show you some of this shit, guys. It's nuts, right? It starts way before this too, by the way, okay? But look at this, okay? First one comes in somewhere around 4 or 5, start of the week, somewhere around there. $1.1 million bet on Tesla 170 is for May 17th, okay? Then you go further down, meta, blah, 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 blah. Here, look at this, another 3. April 19th, 160 puts. April 26th, 175 puts. This is almost another 3 million, right? Plus the 1 million above, that's 4 million. And then another April 19th, 155 puts. That's another 1.5 million right there. 145 June puts, 3 million on this one. 145 December puts, 2 million in this one, right? December 145 puts, this is just the same, but it's written in a different format, right? And obviously you had some calls as well. This was like some September 165 calls. So they were playing both ways, right? Whoever who took these trades, you know, all the traders that did take these trades, more. 110 puts for January 17th, next year. 1 million. Another 105, 1 million. The amount of bearish action that I saw on Tesla is nuts, right? So not only that, we've seen it not really been able to clear this 181 and 183, 184 level, right? It's been pretty sluggish. So I did take a short position to play that. And this morning it's down only 1.7%. That's not a lot, but let's see how the position improves or what changes. Next is McDonald's. This was on the snipe this week as well, but not really giving much of a move here just yet. This came back down here, and now we have to see if this can actually bounce. And Baba is actually up 1.77% pre-market here, which is interesting, right? Some money flowing into Chinese capital, perhaps, for the short term. Amazon gapping down pretty hard. Morgan Stanley moving down, gapping down. This is all just other tickers. But yeah, that's all I have in terms of breaking down these common tickers and the ones that I'm looking at, everything. If you have any questions, post them right now so I can get to them. I'm fully expecting a intraday bounce here and then keeping everybody kind of, you know, tapped out at around 51, 65, somewhere around there. Tesla likely to guide for zero delivery growth for 2024. Maybe, let's see. I mean, I think that they have, obviously at some point of time, will have a supply-demand imbalance, just like how the stock market has one. You know, with any factory, they would have overproduced and now have to sell inventory, and once they sell inventory, that converts into revenue, which is nice. So I think that Tesla's best times are coming in the next few years, but not right away, right? I think it's more like in the next 3 years, if I were to actually, you know, try to time it. Because in exactly a year from now, interest rate environment will be very different. In a year from now. And that will help. FOMC meeting are always released around 2 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, that was quite a bit to cover today, but you know, I just thought I'd jump on here and give you guys an update on what I'm looking at this morning. There are a lot of, you know, shiny dimes to polish here. Nice setups that are forming that we have to capitalize on once we get confirmations. Visa under 270, 273, yeah, under 273 is good. But remember, don't just go gung-ho and short it at 273 because there's likely to be some orders that are sitting right below this level, right? So you have to wait for it to clear those orders out first. Once it clears those orders out, then if it bounces, you could take the long position or if it breaks further below and rejects this area, then you can take that short position. So make sure you wait to see what happens here, because there's some validation to be done. There's no need to, yeah, if you want to buy it, then yeah, you wait for the bounce. I would say at least wait for it to come down and try and clear this gap. And if you're going long, try to do it with the cadence of the market. That's what I would do. Because if you're trying to go long on a market that's trying to go short, you're going to be swimming against the tide, is what I'm trying to explain to you. You get what I mean? I appreciate you guys coming in for the live stream, and if you guys could leave a like for the stream, I'd appreciate that. That's the only thing I ask of you. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys on the next stream. I'm gonna try and put out some more real content as well. I just haven't had the freaking time to do any of that social media marketing stuff. And you guys know I'm not really a social media kind of guy. I have a team that takes care of that stuff. But it would be nice to hear from you guys what kind of content you want me to make for you on social media if I was to make content, right? I'm taking suggestions if you have any. Semiconductors done running for a while. Yeah, this could be a potential turning point for semiconductors for a little while. I would say that, or rather, it keeps it going sideways at the very least, right? But the market eventually, what will happen is this earnings season will come along, and then semiconductors will bounce right back up again, because I will tell you right now, NVDA and all these semiconductor companies, they're going to be booming for the next, I want to say, their earnings reports are going to be going like really massive growth for the next, I want to say, at least 1 year, with the minimum, like 1 year. 4 quarters from now, you'll keep seeing NVIDIA smashing their its earnings records, because there's so much of backlog of people that want to get their hands on chips, you know, and the AI revolution. That's my thinking, at least. Obviously, it boils down to, you know, how much people are willing to speculate. But alrighty, guys, I will see y'all on next Monday. Have a great weekend. Have a good trading day. Remember the plan, right? The plan is at least wait for this zone to be breached in order for downside action. For intraday bounce, you could definitely take some calls and play it up to around 51.80. That's a good spot. I would take profits off the table though at around 51.60. That's what I would do, ahead of everybody. If you're going long, make sure you're just scalping like 10 ticks or something like that, you know? That's the best thing you can do. If you're going short, then wait for the said rally to happen and a confirmation of the back end of the day, which I don't think will happen today, to be honest. I think it might happen a little tomorrow, perhaps. That's my stance. I think today it's mostly going to be a continuation of this flag, and then whichever side takes the flag will carry that either up or down for the day. Fundamental breakdown on NVIDIA to understand its fair value. Sure, I think I've done it before. Sure, I can do it again. That'll be cool. Yeah, we could do that. Alright, see y'all on the next one. Let me put that NVIDIA one on my to-do list. Yeah, I got you, Dustin. I got you. Peace out. Have a good day. Bye, guys. See y'all on Monday.